I wanted to dance because I couldn't originally. I did not grow up in a household or really in a culture that where dance was a big, where dance was pervasive, or even where music was very pervasive. And I always wanted to. I always had that urge, urge to move. I was a bad kid when I was in high school, and I got kicked out of one high school, a private high school, and I got put away for a little while. And when I was released, I went to a new high school and decided to, have a makeover. Kujo comes from the movie and the book by Stephen King about the dog that gets rabies and goes crazy and starts mauling and eating people. And so when I was young and I first began breakdancing when I was 15, all my friends were bigger than me, and so I used to jump up on them and try to take a bite out of their scalps. And they, said this kid is crazy, and he reminds us of Kujo, so we're going to call him Kujo. And it stuck. I kept that name since I was 15, and then the crazy part, when people used to talk about me after I got well known, I used to say, that guy Kujo, he's crazy, and it just stuck. As a professional dancer for the past decade plus, I've been able to travel to 27 countries on 6 continents as a b-boy, just as a breakdancer, not as a choreographer yet. Been able to touch, I don't know how many people's lives. See, dance, once upon a time, was a form of escapism for me. And it was a form of self-expression, and it was a form of narcissism. It was self-indulgent. And that's largely what breaking becomes, because it's all about me and what I can present and how well I can present it. And then when it comes to competition, it's how well I can present it in such a way that it's better than you, and your moves. And as soon as I realized that it was a form of escapism, I ran away from that, because I don't believe in escapism. I think it's part of this counterculture mentality, which is largely responsible for the American people allowing the country to get into the mess that it's in now, economically and politically. We've given our consent to be screwed over by our politicians, by not caring, by escaping into music, by escaping into dance, escaping into drugs, escaping into whatever it is that we want to escape into. And as soon as I realized that I was caught up in that, I pulled myself out of it and I said, okay, I need to do something that means something. And so yes, this is my way of showing people, regardless of any of this, of my ability or lack thereof to hear or to communicate. Dance has become my way to communicate, not just in general. Yes, of course, in general, I can communicate whatever I want through movement, provided that I figure out how to do so, because it's different, speaking with your body than speaking with your mouth. But I can communicate this idea that art is not just about escaping, it's about confronting a reality and providing a solution and creating, just taking these awful, awful things that happen to us as human beings in life and in this country and in any country, and transforming them by whatever alchemical process you want to use into something that is gorgeous and transcendent. That to me is what art needs to be, and that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. And dance is what has allowed me to communicate that in the most effective way. If I were to just tell people that, they wouldn't care, because they'd rather go back and listen to the Beatles or whoever they listen to now, And people aren't going to listen when you just speak, but when they see it through movement and they experience it in a theatrical presentation, it's a different kind of communication. It's a different kind of, it resonates a different way, And that's what's fascinated me with dance in general. But that's also what's allowed me to convey my message that I have to give. I wouldn't be able to communicate that any other way. I was in Colombia last week, and I was talking with some of the dancers there, the B-boys there, about why I do what I do. Same conversation we're having now. And in Colombia, they live in something of a police state. They're in a constant state of fear of being shot by anti-government guerrillas, or being kidnapped by the same people, or being shot by their own government soldiers, which are everywhere. They were in the lobby of my hotel with M16s, And they were asking me, when you come from a place like this, how do you find the inspiration to create beauty? We've never even seen beauty in Bogota. We don't see that anywhere. We see hell every day, And it's just my staunchest belief that it's in here. That beauty is in here, and beauty is equal to the sort of transcendent love that you can have for all mankind, the kind of love that Gandhi had, the kind of love that Martin Luther King had, the kind of love that Jesus had, the kind of love that the Buddha himself had, and all of these people, And this is the kind of thing that you have to cull from within yourself, regardless of what's out there. What's out there matters somewhat, but it doesn't matter as much as what's in here. And when you understand that, and you connect with that in here, and when you understand that you are intimately connected with everyone else around you, then you understand what beauty really is, you understand what love really is, and you have a grasp on that. And then you take that, and you find your process, and you take that, and you meld it into something that affects people, That's it. That's all you have to do. And for me, having realized that, when I perform now, it's not just, okay, go through the motions, get on stage, make sure I'm in the right place at the right time, make sure I do the right movements in sync with everybody else, in sync with the music, hopefully, and take my bow at the end. It's not just going through the motions. When I dance, I put so much of me into what I'm doing that a large part of me remains on that stage and with the audience after I'm long gone. And I never get that part back. It's gone. And in essence, every time I perform, whether I'm breakdancing or whether I'm performing my choreography with Lux or performing someone else's choreography, I try to put so much of myself into it that when it's over, I've died a little bit. I'm not going to get that part of me back. It's gone. And then I just have to make sure that there's enough of me to go around. And that's what I think a lot of dancers are lacking. But at the same time, it's what B-boys have figured out. It's what the hip-hop dancers have figured out. Because, well, it's what the Colombians have figured out. And it's what all of the people that I've met in third world countries, in Poland, in Russia, in South Africa, they figured it out. And the reason that they figured it out is because they haven't had a choice. They have nothing else. They have hip-hop, and they have dance, and they have the people that they dance with, and that's it. That's all they've got. And so for dancers that come here and are trying to make it big in Hollywood, you know, too many of them have lost that because they've been so consumed with making it and whatever that entails, all the details of that and making the money and not getting swallowed by the depression that we're in. It's not a recession, it's depression. And dancers need to find that. They need to find what it is that connects them with humanity. And I saw a beautiful quote the other day also, an anonymous quote that said, when people truly become one with each other, it will be as if when one cries, the other tastes salt. And that's it. That's it. Once you understand that, you understand dance. And you understand what you have to do as a dancer and as an artist. And to add to that, as a precautionary measure, my friend Stefan Chaunier, again, sent me a quote, another quote. I have a lot of quotes. But he sent me a quote from Picasso, Pablo Picasso. Perhaps one of the last things that he wrote about his life and his art. And it was one of regret. It was a long quote, and I don't remember the entire thing. But the gist of it was that in the end of his life, he realized that with all the crazy, wild, experimental things that he painted, he was nothing more than a clown and a charlatan and a faker. That what he did was self-indulgent, whatever he wanted to do and whatever his rich benefactors wanted him to do. But nothing that truly meant anything. Nothing that was truly beautiful in a sublime kind of way. Nothing that truly resonated on a deeper level with human beings anywhere. But that just kind of piqued their curiosity and said, oh, that's interesting. I like that. I'll pay a few thousand for that. He regretted that more than we have any idea. And I don't want to be another Pablo Picasso. I don't want to just dance because I like dancing. I want to dance because I've got something to say, and because we've all got something to say, but not all of us know how to say it, or not all of us really know what it is that we want to say. But ultimately, when we all realize who we really are and what we're really here for, we'll all realize that what we really are here to say is the same thing. And then we just got to go ahead and say it. And we all know what it is. I know what it is, and you know what it is.